Hello friends! Last week I went to see Fantastic Beasts, awesome film, really enjoyed it, and as soon as I got back naturally I just wanted to make all the beasts. I was really excited trying to decide which beast to make first. I decided to make a mooncalf. The mooncalves were only in the movie for a very short amount of time, and as of filming this, no images have been either released or leaked of the mooncalves on the internet. And I find this a really strange thing because they were very, very cool. Therefore, I have had to craft this from my own memory, which is not necessarily the most reliable thing in the world. From what I can remember from the film, they're kind of smallish black llama-like creatures with these humongous blue dinner plate sized eyes that were glowing and reflective and adorable, and they were kind of bouncing slightly and eating all these glowy blue things. It was quite incredible, and I wanted to make a mooncalf keychain so that I could always have a tiny little mooncalf with me. So that's what we're going to do today. So come with me on the journey of creating a little mooncalf keychain, and then hopefully I haven't missed any massive characteristics or details out. I really hope they don't have long tails because I really don't remember them having long tails, but if they do, comment it and be like, Sarah, mooncalves have tails, what are you doing? Cool, let's make a mooncalf. So the first thing you need to do is to select the material you would like to use for your keychain plush. I wanted to be extra fancy, and so I actually layered up two materials just to give some extra depth, texture and magic to my mooncalf. I paired this lovely deep blue suede style material with a glitzy black lace cover. The next thing you need to do is to draw out the shape of your mooncalf. Please note it needs to be slightly bigger than you want your finished keyring to be because it will shrink after sewing. So I pretty much just sketched out the shape of a llama and then I cut it out with paper scissors, not fabric scissors, don't do that. Now I'm placing the paper template onto the fabric I want on the inside of my plush, so that's the dark blue stuff, and I'm drawing around it. And a white tailor's chalk here would have been absolutely ideal for this, but I had to make do with a marker pen despite it not showing up very clearly at all. But what can you do? So now you need to create your fabric sandwich, and if you're just using one fabric like a normal person, this whole project will be a lot easier. So you just press the two right sides together. So I'm taking the outer fabric, which is a lace, and I'm pressing it right side to right side, and then I'm putting the right sides of my outer fabric onto each of these sides, so you've got all the wrong sides facing out, if that makes sense. I'm now pinning it into place, and I did find that I needed to adjust my pins a little throughout the sewing process just to keep everything flat and crease free. Then you need to go ahead and backstitch around the body. I doubled up my thread for this to make extra strong stitches. Try and keep your stitches as tiny as possible, especially around the curves of the shape. It takes some patience, but it's definitely worth it just so that nothing comes undone. And I'm going to leave a gap of a couple of centimeters here along the back of the leg. So when I've sewn all the way around, I overlap a few stitches just to finish off. Then I grab some fabric scissors and I snip around the outside, and you only need to leave a couple of millimeters around the stitching. Now is probably the hardest part of this project, and I did this off camera because it did take me quite a few minutes. You need to turn the plush back the right way round, and if you use multiple fabrics this can be quite a battle, but even if it seems impossible, it usually is possible. It just takes a lot of patience and a lot of tugging, and you can use a pencil or some tweezers to pull the fabric, and you should be able to tease it so that it's back the right way around. So once you're done, you'll have a little mooncalf ready to be stuffed, and I am using the end of a pencil to push the stuffing into the ends of the plush. So now you can sew up the opening with some thread that matches your material, so I'm using black, and at this moment my needle just snapped in half. Cheap needle, lucky I have 100 million more, so take two. Then I realised you probably can't see what's happening, so I put some pink fabric on my workstation just to make it a bit clearer. And here is what my sparkly mooncalf looks like now. Next you need some big sparkly eyes, and I'm using buttons for these. I picked out some shiny buttons which I'm going to layer on top of one another just to make the eyes seem really big and reflective and 3D. I'm also using some bright coloured thread for this part as well. So double up your thread and sew one set of buttons onto one side of the head and the other to the other side. If you've layered materials, then make sure you're stitching the buttons under both layers of fabric so that they're really secure. And when you've finished one button on one side, you can pass the needle straight through the plush to the other side and start sewing on the other buttons right away. You can use any kind of keychain you want to finish this off, but I found a cute vintage looking one, so I'm going to be using that. I attached it to a chain from a broken necklace, and I also added on some beads to be the little pellets for the mooncalf to eat. You can have the chain as long or as short as you want, depending on where you want to keep it. So to attach this, I double up some black thread and I attach the end of the chain to the ear of the plush and just keep stitching until it feels really strong when you give it a tug. And with that, your mooncalf keyring is complete and ready to use. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will be back soon with some more fantastic beasts crafts. See you soon, bye!